I used and. There was a good way off from them a herd of many swine feeding. Mark, now there was there, near to the mountains, a great herd of swine feeding. Luke, and there was there a herd of many swine feeding on the mountain. So I'll use now from Mark. Now. I don't like the wording. There was there, near to the mountains. That's also how Luke has it. And there was there a herd of many swine. Matthew has, there was a good way off from them a herd of many swine. I like that a lot better. Also, a good way off is more descriptive than just there. Is it in the midst of them? In between them? Is it in that countryside, on the beach? I'm going to definitely use what Matthew says, a good way off. There was, I believe is all three. There was just Matthew. A good way off from them. A herd of many swine feeding. Mark says, near to the mountains. That's what I'll put next. Feeding on the mountain. Okay, were the swine near to the mountains or on the mountains? You know what? I think it has to be on the mountain, because when the demons are sent into the swine, the herd ran violently down a steep place into the lake, which means they have to be on the mountain or on a hill. Maybe there's a very steep hill or a cliff and then a mountain, but I think it would keep it the least confusing if it's just they're on the mountain and they ran down. Mark, the herd ran violently down a steep place into the sea. Yeah, so I'll say they were on the mountain from Luke. And that comes after the herd of many swine. So I'll skip from Mark where it says near to the mountains. I'll just go right to a great herd of swine feeding. Matthew, a herd of many swine. Should I say a great herd of swine or a herd of many swine? Or I can say both. A great herd of many swine. Yeah, I could do both. A herd of many swine. See, I'll do both. A great herd of many swine. So, gray, A, Mark only, great, all three again, herd of, and then many is not in Mark, but it is in Matthew and Luke. Back to all three, swine. Mark, swine feeding. Matthew has swine feeding. Yeah, they all have swine feeding. Luke, swine feeding. Oh, that's right, on the mountain. So the rest of this is Luke. I'm not going to put near to the mountain from Mark. On is just Luke. Luke on both the mountain. Luke, and they besought him. And all the devils besought him. So the devils besought him. So, from Matthew on. The devils besought him. Mark says, all the devils besought him. So I could add that. Luke, they besought him. So instead of they, I'll say devils, but not just devils, all the devils, which is Mark. All, and then the devils. It's just they in Luke. So besought him is all three. Mark, the devils. Besought him. Matthew, the devils besought him. So the devils is Matthew, Mark. Now all three besought him. Mark, saying, "Send us into the swine." Luke says that he would permit them to enter into them. Matthew says, saying, "If you cast us out, allow us to go away into the herd of swine." All right, all three of those are different. Luke doesn't have any of their words. It just says that he would permit them to enter into them. I don't like how it constantly says them. I like how it says in Matthew. This is them actually speaking. "If you cast us out, allow us to go away into the herd of swine." Mark has them saying, "Send us into the swine, that we may enter them." "If you cast us out," that has to go first. Besought him, saying, "If you cast us out." Saying. I put that word, saying. Besought him, saying is Matthew, Mark. Luke besought him that. Okay, so Matthew, Mark only. Saying, "If you cast us out, allow us to go away into the herd of swine." Mark says, "Send us into the swine, that we may enter into them." Allow us to go away into the herd of swine. I don't think I need to have "into the herd of swine, that we may enter into them." Well, Mark has "into the swine," and then later "into them." So I guess I could put that twice. "Send us into the swine, that we may enter them." So I can have it both ways. I could have it, "Allow us to go away into the herd of swine, that we may enter into them." Yeah, Luke, I would just put similar words. "Enter into them." That's similar to Mark, the second half. "Enter into them." Or "allow us to go away into the herd of swine." So is "send" or "allow us to go"? Should they be asking Jesus, "Allow us to go," or "Send us"? I think "allow" is more appropriate, because if they were really begging earlier not to send them into the deep, they're not going to command Jesus to command them to go into the swine. They're going to continue begging, "Allow us." So I'll put that. "Send us into the swine." Okay, so only Matthew. "If you cast us out, allow," and then "us" is both. "Into the swine." "To go away" is all Matthew. "To go away into the swine," but "heard of" is added in Matthew. Okay, so "into the" is both. I think it's also Luke. "To enter into them." Okay, so only the word "into" is gray. "Into," and then "the" is Matthew, Mark. "Heard of" is Matthew only. "Heard of," and "swine," "them," to enter into them. So that's not even Luke. So that's Matthew, Mark, swine. Then Mark, that second portion, "that we may enter into them." So I'll put all that from Mark. "That we may enter into them." Mark says, "And forthwith Jesus gave them leave." Matthew, "And he said to them, go." So is he giving them leave, or is he sending? "And he permitted them." So Mark and Luke agree he permitted them or he gave them leave, versus Matthew where he actually said go. Well, I could have both. He permitted them or he gave them leave, saying go. That is him giving them permission to go. Yeah, that's what I could do. So I'll have go be at the end. "And he permitted them." I think I like "and he gave them leave" more than "permitted them." That's just a personal preference. I don't think there's any big difference between the two. And forthwith Jesus gave them leave and said to them, go. That's what it could be. Yeah. So I'll put Jesus instead of he. Jesus gave them leave and said to them, go. Well, since permitted them and gave them leave are similar, I'll say that Luke and Mark are being put together, and then I'll have Matthew just be on its own. But the he, I'm just going to remove because it names Jesus in the verse in Mark, and you don't need to say Jesus did this and he did that. You could just say Jesus did this and that. So, and said to them, go. I would like to have it, and Jesus gave them leave, saying go. That would be the best. But I only have said, past tense, from Matthew, so I have to go and said. Or I could say, and Jesus giving them leave, said go. But Mark is clear, gave them leave. So I can't say Jesus gave them leave, said go. That would be weird. Yeah, so I'm going to say Mark, Luke, and now only from Mark, forthwith, Jesus gave them leave. That's the end in Mark, but I will add from Matthew again. Is there anything combined from? And he permitted them. Them is also Luke. Gave them leave. Now Matthew all by itself, except for the he, because it's not necessary. And said to them, go. If I could have a comma between gave them leave and said to them go, I would do that, but I can't. So I'll just have it like this. Now there was a good way off from them a great herd of many swine feeding on the mountain. So all the devils besought him, saying, if you cast us out, allow us to go away into the herd of swine, that we may enter into them. And forthwith Jesus gave them leave and said to them, go.